Given the state of the world, there seems to be some discrepancy between what we're told by mainstream media sources and what we can see happening in our respective communities. So, what is the cause of this discrepancy? Why is it that those in control of our governments believe that everything is as it should be and that their policies are having a positive effect on society when all evidence indicates the opposite to be true? The choices made and policies being enacted by our so-called leaders are having an obviously detrimental and possibly irreversible effect on human civilization as we know it. One possible explanation is that mainstream media sources have been corrupted and turned into tools of control. A previously trusted source of information, relied upon by the public to make informed decisions, is now being used to mislead and misinform the public, causing them to make decisions that are counterproductive to their own well-being.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
If you go back really not that long ago, as I say, we owned the news. We were the gatekeepers, and we very much owned the facts as well.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at.
But now we have to ask ourselves why. Why would any journalism organization be willing to collude with corporate and governmental interests in an effort to misinform and mislead the average citizen? Why would political leaders want to destabilize their own populations? What does anyone gain from spreading lies with such disastrous consequences for society?
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order.
A new world order.
New world order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Yes, there have been corrupt empires. Yes, they manipulate. Yes, there are secret societies. Yes, there have been oligarchies throughout history. And yes, today in 2002, there is a tyrannical organization calling itself the New World Order, pushing for worldwide government, a cashless society, open borders, total and complete tyranny.
Joe Biden calls it Build Back Better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better.
So if we assume that the people in control of our respective governments are telling the truth when they tell us that they not only want to, but have a plan to create a new world order, which they are currently enacting, then we must now wonder how they plan to destroy our current societies in order to usher in their new one. What will be destroyed that they plan to build back better?
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
No one's safe till everyone's safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe. No one is safe from COVID-19 until everyone is. 99.5% of people are safe.
Many in this audience have been subjected to years of censorship on this topic. What I want to talk to you today is about the DNA contamination that our team at Medicinal Genomics discovered in the mRNA vaccines. We're specifically speaking about Pfizer and Moderna in this case. This work has been replicated by many labs around the world, and now the FDA, the EMA, and even Health Canada have admitted to this. The regulatory agents have admitted that Pfizer also omitted the SV40 sequences that are in their vaccine. They've deemed this contamination to be of little consequence, claiming the DNA is of too little concentration to matter or to be containing DNA of no functional consequence. These statements are false and are not supported by any independent testing by these regulators. After the regulators have admitted to being deceived, they asked the opinion of the party that deceived them, how bad was the deception? They shockingly believed the answer they were given, which is that these sequences have no relevance to plasmid manufacturing. As someone who has worked on the Human Genome Project manufacturing millions of plasmids, I can assure you that this is an overt lie. DNA contamination can lead to insertional mutagenesis. This is actually declared in Moderna's own patents regarding mRNA vaccines. This is U.S. patent 10,898,574.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
I'm sorry, Bill. Perhaps I'm simply just too stupid, but could you explain to me how vaccines and reproductive health care services are going to lower the population when those are supposed to be life-saving measures?
We need to see everyone get an updated flu shot and an updated COVID vaccine. The reason for it is because this virus continues to change. That's okay. We can stay one step ahead of it. We have the tools to do it. We just need to use them. So FDA, CDC has started that process just like we do with the flu shot. We've started that process to update the COVID vaccine already for this fall. And so we just want folks to, again, already start thinking about that.
And by creating open borders where there's no national sovereignty and only global bodies that control all the resources, by centralizing and socializing health care, the state becomes God, basically, when it comes to your health. And then by releasing diseases and viruses and plagues upon us, we then basically get shoved into their system.
So if we consider for a moment that people like David Icke and Alex Jones, who 20 and 30 years ago sounded much more outlandish, are actually correct, and that there is a cabal of global elites moving to take advantage of crises they've created in order to usher in a system of global governance and control. Then the next question is, but don't I have rights? What about our national constitutions and charters and national sovereignty?
Most legal systems are based on this idea, this belief in human rights. But human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story that we've invented and spread around. And the same thing is also true in the political field. States and nations are also, like human rights and like God and like heaven, they too are just stories.
The Club of Rome comprises some 70 men of widely varying backgrounds, but their common concern is that the world problems cannot be solved by individual nations. I spoke with Professor Hugo Tiemann, director of the Battelle Institute Geneva, Dr. Aurelio Pache, founder of the club, and Dr. Alexander King, Director of the World Bank and the United Nations OECD. Dr. King, now you're describing the world as a closed system where all these things are interrelated, and yet the government, the control of the system is by individual nation states. Now, how do you convince them to cooperate?
The sovereignty of these nations is no longer as absolute as it was. There's a gradual diminishing, whittling away of sovereignty, little bit by little bit. Especially, of course, in the smaller countries where it's more obvious. But the bigger countries have to do a good deal of this by agreeing to international arrangements for the law of the seas, or for the limits of fishing, or for control of the wavelengths in radio, and 101 other things.
So aside from censorship and technological control of the narrative and the flow of information, how do they stop the average person who learns of these plans from telling others and spreading that information? Perhaps this will sound familiar.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
Oakland, California, donde la vida no vale nada, donde no hay respeto a la vida. Oakland, California, y la ciudad nos tiene abandonado, una balacera muy grande.